air blows across the evaporator and you've got air conditioning. And then you can choose where you want your air conditioning to be diverted to. If the door is open, you've got heat. And then you can choose where it goes. Now, where could it go? Let's talk about that. There is a vacuum-operated door in a couple different places. One of them is here, right above the blower motor. And when you turn your gauges to wherever you want it, this door can open and close, letting hot or cold air. In this case, we're talking about hot air because you're talking about a heater. And again, this foam can deteriorate across the top. Something to look at, and if it does have a problem, you may have to replace it. Again, that's a DIY project that you could do, and you'll learn a lot about your system that way. Now, another area where air can go, another area to investigate, this is behind your dashboard. This end would be where the firewall would be, and this is where you would sit. Now, what you're looking at is the air that blows down on your feet when you want the air diverted to the bottom. This is the vents where you might want to warm your hands. That would be right between the two passenger and driver. These are the defrosters. So that's just an idea of what this system looks like. It's pretty simple. Just routes the air wherever you tell it to go. Now, when it's not going where you tell it to go, what do? This is where I want to show you the different doors that divert the air to where you want it to. There's a door right here on the side, and it operates on a little vacuum diaphragm. Now, I'd like to show you that vacuum diaphragm because we're going to check it, because when they don't work, the doors don't operate. This is the vacuum diaphragm right here. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get yourself a vacuum gauge. And you're going to want to, this is a simple vacuum gauge on a hose. The first thing you want to do is attach it to the diaphragm. Now, there's a couple of them. So mind you, all those doors I've shown you, they all have diaphragms. So you're going to have to track them down. It's sort of like a scavenger hunt. You have to find out which one's not working, or it could be something else. Let's start off with the diaphragm itself. You're going to squeeze this vacuum gauge, and as I do that, watch this door drop. I'll do it a couple times to show you. If there's a leak in your diaphragm, it'll go back up. Let me show you again. I'm squeezing the vacuum on here. We're adding vacuum to the diaphragm. It's working. But when it doesn't work, you could have a nice slow leak. And that's when you have heat, and then the heat disappears. So you wait, you try it again, you have heat, and it disappears. Now, if it's a bad vacuum diaphragm, you replace that. However, the vacuum diaphragm works. You can't figure out why. Then you'll attach the vacuum hoses, and they do come together like this, in almost like a little junction box. And all the vacuum hoses go to one junction box. After you check the diaphragm, check the vacuum hoses. They can crack, and a little crack in a vacuum hose will not allow vacuum to be held in the line, and that would be that slow leak because they get old and they need to be replaced. So in your scavenger hunt, look for all the vacuum diaphragms, get a service manual. You can get on the internet and get that information too, so you can fix that problem and stay nice and warm.
Or cold.
True, this is sort of like the heating and ventilation system in your home, just duct work for your car.
Absolutely. Heating or air conditioning, it's all got to work together.
Absolutely.
Not at the same time. You want heat, you want air conditioning, one or the other.
One or the other.
All right, no matter how large or small your automotive question is, you can send it to us by calling 866-TALK-TO-DIY, and we'll try to use your question on an upcoming show.
When we come back, we'll tell you what we're doing with some transmission fluid and when it doesn't look just quite right. Stay right there.
Welcome to another DIY Kit. Everything you need to complete a do-it-yourself project. For detailed lists, instructions, and more, go to DIYnet.com and click on DIY Kits. Today's kit will show you how to inspect and maintain your car's braking system, and it's brought to you exclusively by AutoZone. To get started with today's kit, you'll need ramps, wheel chocks, a jack, a lug wrench, a micrometer, flashlight, and a rag. It's recommended that you inspect the critical components of your car's braking system once a year, or every 12,000 miles. To begin, position your vehicle on ramps, engage the parking brake, and chock the wheels. With a flashlight, inspect the brake lines that run the length of the vehicle for damage or leaks. And the rubber hoses that deliver brake fluid should be flexible and without kinks. With a jack, raise your car, remove the first wheel, and inspect the brake pads. The pads should be at least 1/16 of an inch thick. Also check to see if any grease or fluids have dripped onto the pads or rotors. Make sure the rotor is not damaged or showing signs of wear. If there's heavy scarring or if your rotors are warped, you should have them resurfaced by a brake specialist. Now check the level of the brake fluid. It's recommended this be checked once per month. And if it needs topping off, always wipe the top of the brake fluid reservoir first to prevent contaminants from entering the system. Also, be sure to use the proper type brake fluid as suggested by the owner's manual to prevent possibly voiding your vehicle's warranty. Follow these simple maintenance procedures as recommended by your owner's manual, and you'll keep your braking system in peak condition and help avoid those major, expensive repairs. Log on to DIYnet.com for complete instructions. You'll also find how you can buy everything you need to complete this project, along with many other creative DIY kits. Today's kit is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. Anything you want, anything you need, anything at all, you can get it in the zone. You want it, and you need it, just ask us and we'll get it.
When it comes to getting the parts, supplies, and advice you need to keep your car running right, there's no better place than AutoZone.
Get in the zone.
Welcome back to Talk to DIY. I'm Steve Ford.
I'm Lauren Fix. Today we've helped auto enthusiasts with questions on several topics, but we spent some time focusing on transmission issues.
And Katie from Junction City, Oregon has a unique problem with her transmission, and she needs some direction on which way she should go. She left us this voicemail.
I have an '84 Dodge Ram Charger that was caught in a small flood, and I ended up with water in the transmission, and I'm just wondering if I can just change the transmission fluid or if I need to do a complete flush to get all of the water out.